Imagine this. It's just after lunch on the Hunza main road. Jeeps are humming by, someone is bargaining for dry fruits, there's that mix of dust and sunlight in the air, and then, in the middle of all that noise, we turn into this tiny, quiet lane that drops away from the highway. Suddenly, Hunza feels completely different.
Yeah, it's that feeling when you step off a busy bazaar and within 30 seconds, you're like, wait, where did everyone go? You can still hear a little traffic above you, but down below it's just leaves, stone, and your own footsteps.
Welcome to Travel Dairy. I'm Sharjeel, and with me is my travel partner, Abdullah. Today we're taking you on one very simple autumn walk in Lower Hunza, below the main road, below the famous viewpoints, where the real, everyday Hunza is just quietly going on.
And the best part? This is a walk almost anyone can do. No hardcore trekking, no big budget, no guide necessary. Just a little planning, a bit of respect, and maybe a warm jacket, because that autumn breeze in Hunza does not joke around.
So let's start at the top of that lane. We had just finished a simple lunch near Karimabad, dal chapati, nothing fancy, and we decided, instead of chasing another viewpoint, let's give ourselves one calm village loop, maybe 1 hour. That was the entire plan.
And before we even left the car, we did a quick checklist. It sounds boring, but it really makes these small walks stress-free. We took just a tiny day pack, water bottle, light jacket, a cap, some tissues, and my favorite thing, a small bag so we don't throw any wrappers accidentally.
We also checked 2 important things. First, daylight. In autumn, once the sun dips behind the mountains, it gets cold and dark very quickly. So we literally looked at the sun and said, okay, 1 hour down there, and we must be back before the light starts fading.
And second, we asked a local. Right next to where we parked, there was a tiny shop selling chips and chai. I walked in and said, in Urdu, something like, भाई नीचे गांव की तरफ हल्का सा चक्कर लगाना है कोई ऐसा रास्ता बता दें जो आसान हो प्राइवेट घरों में ना गुजरे और वापस यहीं आ जाए.
He smiled, we chatted for maybe 1 minute, and he gave us exactly what we wanted, a simple loop. Down this lane, keep close to the stone walls, don't enter any gates, you'll see a small irrigation channel, then you curve back up from the other side. That's it, local Google Maps.
And honestly, that 1-minute conversation is the secret to village walks anywhere in Hunza. Just ask. We want an easy loop, we don't want to disturb anyone, and we want to come back to the same point. People respect that. They can see you're not there to wander into courtyards and take random photos. The moment we stepped off the main road, the sound changed. The asphalt ended, and under our shoes, it became this mix of dust, small stones, and then the first layer of yellow apricot leaves. They were scattered along the lane, almost like someone had decorated the path for us.
Yeah, and you know those classic Hunza stone walls? On both sides, you've got these low, stacked stones holding tiny terraces and courtyards. Some had piles of firewood neatly arranged. Some had those long wooden ladders leaning against a wall. And you could just faintly see tree branches with the last few apricot leaves hanging on.
Every few steps, the view opened up. You'd look between 2 houses, and suddenly there's a snow peak in the distance, blue sky, and then this golden orangish orchard in front. No big signboard, no crowd, just one old man carrying a bundle of sticks along a side path, minding his own business.
We kept our voices low. That's another small thing. You're walking past people's homes. For us, it's a travel experience, but for them, it's just a Tuesday. So we were talking, laughing a bit, but not shouting across the lane like we were at a cricket match.
After a few minutes, the lane turned slightly, and we heard it before we saw it, that soft, constant sound of water. In Hunza, that usually means you're near an irrigation channel. Sure enough, the path met this narrow cement channel, clear water running down from somewhere higher up, feeding the fields below.
We stopped there for a bit. I remember just resting one hand on the stone wall, looking down at the fields. There were a couple of people working, maybe weeding, maybe clearing something, but they were far enough that we didn't need to say anything. And that's important. You don't need to turn every sight into a social moment.
Exactly. We have one very simple rule for these walks. If it looks like someone's home or their private field, we don't enter, even if there's a nice view. We stay on the obvious, worn path, or on the side that clearly feels like a public lane. No cutting across fields, no hopping over low walls just to get a better Instagram shot.
And if we're not sure, we don't go. It's that easy. Better to miss one photo than to walk into someone's family space. Honestly, the best photos from that day were just from the lane itself. Yellow leaves, stone steps, a glimpse of a peak in the middle.
As we followed the channel for a short stretch, the village started to feel more alive. Somewhere a pressure cooker hissed, you could smell wood smoke, and then we heard the first tiny "Assalamu alaikum" from behind us.
I turned around and there were 3 kids, maybe 8 or 9 years old, walking in a small group. School bags on their backs, cheeks a little red from the cold. One of them repeated, a bit louder, "Assalamu alaikum," and then in shy English, "Hello, how are you?"
We greeted them back, also softly. A quick "Walaikum assalam," "Tiko," and a smile. No interview, no 20 questions, just a simple exchange. And you could see they were happy with that. They giggled, overtook us on the lane, and kept going.
This is something I really want to highlight. Not every interaction has to become a full story. Sometimes children just want to say hello and then continue their day. If they slow down and clearly want to chat, you can, but you don't have to make it a big scene.
A little further down, one boy did something different. He stopped, pointed at his friend and then at us and said, "Photo?" So we had a choice. We asked, "Tum log photo chahte ho?" They nodded. So we took one picture on my phone, showed it to them, everyone laughed, and that was it.
And notice, even then, we didn't take out a big camera and start clicking from every angle. We didn't post it anywhere with their faces front and center. If you ever do take photos of people, especially kids, keep it light, ask clearly, and be okay if the answer is no. And sometimes, maybe just enjoy the moment without a photo at all.
On the walk back, we actually had a couple of situations where we stepped aside to let others pass. These lanes can be really narrow. If someone is carrying wood, or leading an animal, or just walking quickly, we take one step to the side, face slightly away so they're not forced into eye contact, and let them go first.
Yeah, I remember one uncle coming up with a big bundle on his back. We moved up onto a tiny ledge on the side, pressed ourselves gently against the wall, and he just passed with a small nod. No need for a big thank you speech. A simple nod back is enough.
After some time, we checked the sky again. The light had softened, shadows were getting longer. That's when we decided, okay, time to turn back up towards the main road. But instead of going back the exact same lane, we followed the shopkeeper's advice and took a slightly different one that curved up from the other side.
That second lane had more steps, those uneven, worn stone steps that force you to slow down. On one side, someone had stacked winter wood almost up to the roofline. On the other, you could see an open courtyard with clothes drying, but we stayed on our line and didn't stand there staring.
Within a few minutes, you could hear the main road again. A horn here, a bike there, and then suddenly we popped out almost exactly where we had started, right next to that same tiny shop, our car still happily waiting for us.
We did one last important step. Chai. For me, any good village loop ends with something small from a local shop. It's a simple way to say thanks to the area and also to warm your hands. So we grabbed chai and maybe a small packet of biscuits, sat on the roadside bench, and just watched the road for a few minutes.
So, how do you copy this in your own Hunza trip? Let me give you a very easy village loop formula you can adapt to any season. Step 1. Pick a small starting point on or just below the main Hunza road, near Karimabad, Altit, or any lower village where you see a lane dropping downward. Park safely, somewhere that isn't blocking anyone, and do a quick daylight check.
Step 2. Find a nearby shop and ask for a short, easy loop that brings you back to the same point. Use simple language. You want an easy walk, no private homes, back in about an hour. Locals know which lanes are comfortable for visitors.
Step 3. Walk slowly. Stay on obvious paths, keep voices low, skip courtyards and doorways, and never enter fields unless clearly invited. If someone seems uncomfortable, you just smile, turn around, and choose a different lane. No drama.
Step 4. Keep interactions light and natural. Return greetings, wave if someone waves, and only take photos of people if you ask and they happily agree. Remember, a quiet walk with almost no conversation can still be a beautiful experience.
And step 5. End with something small from a local spot. Chai, a snack, maybe some fruit. Sit for 5 minutes. Let the whole walk sink in. And then head back to your hotel or the next viewpoint with a completely different feeling about Hunza.
If you're thinking, okay, this sounds nice, but I'll forget all of this, don't worry. We've put together a simple side village checklist for Hunza. It has etiquette reminders, packing notes, and safety points, so you don't have to remember every little thing.
You can grab that checklist on our website. Just head over after this episode, look for the Hunza Village Loop Guide, and download or save it for your trip. It's designed to fit in your pocket or your phone, so you can pull it out right before you leave the main road.
Next time you're in Hunza, don't just chase the big signs. Leave the highway after lunch, follow one tiny stone lane down, listen to the leaves under your feet, and see what quiet story the village wants to tell you.
I'm Sharjeel with Abdullah, and this was your little autumn walk through Lower Hunza on Travel Dairy. Thanks for walking with us today, and we'll meet you again on another lane in another corner of the north very soon.